All right, episode 1, we're going. We are rolling. Welcome to the Varsity podcast. It's exciting times, boys. We're in March Madness. Today is Monday, March 7th, 2022, and the madness is upon us. So we're going to be talking some college basketball. Crazy weekend we had again. I feel like we've been getting spoiled lately with this college basketball season. So let's just kind of get things started. Also, we have a guest coming on hopefully within the next 20-30 minutes. He was involved in some pretty exciting stuff last night, so we'll get into that when he hops in. But in the meantime, let's talk some games of the weekend. Tulsa UCF was a 73-72 win for Tulsa. What do you guys think about that buzzer beater? You guys saw that, right?
Yeah, half quarter.
That was pretty crazy. And it was sort of a meaningless game, but that's got to feel good heading into a conference tournament if you're Tulsa, who's had a pretty mediocre season. And UCF is a solid team.
Mediocre.
So
4-14
I feel like
conference. That's
I feel like that's a big win though for them. And that's at the very least it's the highlight of their season, and maybe you capture that momentum going into the conference tournament. I don't know. But
it's what March
it's always
is all
fun
about,
to see buzzer beaters in March.
You're damn right.
Yeah. All right. Another exciting game. Speaking of buzzer beaters, was Kansas versus Texas. Even though it didn't actually end on a buzzer beater, there was a shot at the buzzer that would have won it, but it was late for Kansas.
Yeah.
They go on to win that one in overtime over Texas, 70-63. The Big 12 has been really good this year, and that was just another exciting game in there. I don't know. You guys have anything to say about either of those teams or the Big 12 in general, I guess?
Yeah, I think Kansas is probably the best team in the Big 12. Them and Baylor, I'd say.
Yeah.
Texas is inconsistent. I think so is Texas Tech and Iowa State.
Yeah. I've noticed it's very strange. Texas Tech can beat anyone in the country, but they can probably lose to anyone in the country, including some of those really I would have to go through their schedule, but I feel like they could lose to a team that's net rating of 300. That just seems like Texas Tech this year. We can stick with the Big 12 then. Baylor and Iowa State had a really surprisingly interesting game. Baylor was stomping on Iowa State. They got off to a 25-point lead. I think Iowa State scored 4 points in the first 12 minutes. It was something disgusting. They came all the way back and lost 75-68. So Baylor nearly choked that one. Are there, in a game like that, do you guys think there are major takeaways for either end of that? Baylor jumping ahead and then almost losing but still winning, and Iowa State starting slow but making it interesting. Is there anything to take away when you're filling out your bracket, Dave? Would a game like that have any influence on it?
Go ahead, B.
I mean, stuff like that's not going to slide in the tournament, blowing 25-point leads. It's just when you're playing these top-tier teams, you're going to have to keep the foot on the gas in March, and you can't let off. And blowing a 25-point lead, maybe against Iowa State you'll be all right, but if you're playing Kansas for the Big 12 championship, that's just not going to slide in March.
Right on. It's going to be – I mean, this year I feel like we're getting spoiled because it's going to be so hard, I feel like, to not only pick brackets but just to win this year, because I don't think there are that any teams that are that dominant where it's – you never know. You could be feeling good in a game and blow bigly. I don't know. It's one of those years where there's been so much chaos already. It's going to make for a really exciting tournament. And we saw last year some double-digit seeds have some nice runs. UCLA was in the Final Four. Oregon State, I believe, was in the Elite Eight. Syracuse had a nice run. I mean, we saw some good runs last year. So it could be another year of that, which is always fun. Yeah. Any other games you guys want to note?
I mean, obviously the one we'll be talking about, but Iowa and Illinois is a big one.
Yep. And we'll save some of that talk for when our guest gets here. We'll go into a little bit more detail.
Memphis and Houston.
Yeah, that
Memphis sweeps Houston. I mean, if Memphis plays like that, they're going to win some games in the tournament.
Yeah, that was such a weird game to me because Houston, I thought, was a lot better, and I saw this stat somewhere. They just haven't performed well against good teams this year. Like they look good against bad teams, but they might not be as legit. I mean, last year, were they in the Final Four last year? I feel like they might have been. I don't know. Regardless, I think they had a solid season. I want to say they were.
I think they were as well.
Yeah, so it's like you just don't know. And maybe they'll string things together here and figure it out. But a game like that where they really just kind of got dominated by Memphis. And, I mean, Memphis has got a good program now, but it was still weird. It was weird to see a favorite like Houston just be on the wrong end of a lopsided game.
Yeah, Houston lost to Baylor by 19 last year.
All right. Yeah, and I mean, obviously Baylor was super good last year. Those two, them and Gonzaga, were just – I felt like their level of play was so much higher than the rest of the country, and I feel like we don't have that this year, which is kind of nice. All right, let's see. Ooh, Florida, Kentucky. Not that the game was like all that, but Keontae Johnson, what an amazing story for him to get the honorary start. He obviously didn't play at all, but they had him in to start, just kind of to honor him. He's still not cleared. That was just kind of a feel-good moment. Like, no matter how you feel about Florida, it was cool to see him get that send-off almost. And a guy like that, I feel like he's really earned it. And hopefully his recovery continues to get better and better, because it's been 15 months since he collapsed, and that's just tough, man. And you really hope the best for him.
Yeah, it's a cool gesture. I think he's still trying to get cleared so he can try and make a run at the NBA. So, you hope
that would be
everything goes well there.
Amazing. I mean, seriously, like, usually if a guy is out longer than a year, it's not a good sign. So you hope for the best for him, and things like this are just really cool. And I'm glad Florida did that. Glad they honored him, and hope the best for him. And as for Kentucky, they continued to look good. That's a team that is going to look scary come March. Again, like, we don't know this year. There aren't like a lot of certain things, but I feel like Kentucky could very easily make a run here in March, but we'll see. All right. There are some now. Okay. So there's some big games I want to talk about. I want to hold off on like some of the conference tournament stuff. So let's talk about the Big Ten. We've got to talk about it. As much as I don't want to, we're Badger fans, and so
two of us. One of us is a Florida State fan.
Fair enough, but it was a tough weekend for us Badger fans, and Wisconsin lost to Nebraska 74-73, and also lost Johnny Davis for most of the second half. Sounds like he's going to be all right and play on Friday, but that was a tough blow for the Badgers. Kind of one of those things that you never want to celebrate too early, because on Tuesday we felt like we were on top of the world. This was a hangover game, and you need it, and sometimes it builds adversity. And so hopefully for this Badger team, that's exactly what it'll do, and it'll spark a run where they win, 9 games in a row to end the year? Is that what they'd have to do? I mean, if they don't win the Big Ten tournament, they don't win the Big Ten tournament. But that was tough. Things just did not go their way. And credit to Nebraska, they've been playing well. not thinking they're going to win the Big Ten tournament, but they're as hot as any team in the Big Ten right now. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
And we don't really need to talk too much more about it because, hey, at the end of the day, Badgers are still co-champions with the Fighting Illini, who we're going to talk about now, and that's who our guest is probably going to talk about when he gets here. I should get a notification when he gets here. But yeah, Illinois, Iowa, that was a really good game. I honestly was thinking that at the end of that game, it was going to come down to a Jordan Bohannon 3. It did not. That would have gotten really interesting given his history with the Wisconsin Badgers, because if he hits the game-winning 3, it's like maybe he was meant to be a Badger after all. But
did he even score? I don't even think he scored, did he?
No, I believe he was scoreless, which is
I don't think he had a stat.
A joke for a guy that's been in college basketball for 6 years now, and he didn't score in their final regular season game. I don't know. I mean, he is a good player, but
he only played 14
it's been a weird year for him. I feel like maybe he's just been playing for such a long time that it's like I don't know. But credit to Illinois. They had a fantastic season. They were another team that kind of didn't have super high expectations. I mean, they were probably, fifth or so is what people were saying beginning of the year. Somewhere in the middle upper part of the conference. They're a strong team, and they were really good last year and lost some good talent. But they got Kofi Coburn back, and they've been a force this year. And they definitely earned a co-title in the Big Ten, and it is. I was thinking about it at first. I was bummed out, but it's cool. I mean, they hadn't won a conference title since 2005, so it was like good for them. They've been a good program, so that was nice. They also stormed the court, which has been an interesting topic because when the Badgers did it against Purdue for winning a co-share of the conference title, many Big Ten fans, I believe probably including Illinois fans, thought it was ridiculous. But then Illinois does it. I don't know. I love court storms, and Adam, you've been a part of one.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun. Who cares, right? It's like, it was cool. And our guest was there last night and got to storm the court. So hopefully we'll hear from him about that experience. But we'll see. Big Ten is going to be, I think, a really interesting tournament because there are some teams kind of fighting for their lives right now. I feel like Indiana is really the team right now that needs to do something in that tournament. Other than that, I feel like the rest of the teams are locks, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll get to conference tournaments. So let's go to the last big game of the weekend, and that was Coach K's special night, his last game at home, and it was against the UNC Tar Heels, where the Tar Heels spoiled his night 94-81. I mean, fans were crying. It was not the night I think they imagined, but kind of a perfect way to end this great rivalry, at least for the Coach K and Roy Williams era now, that being done. UNC gets the win, an unranked UNC. These teams, I mean, they always play each other competitive. It doesn't matter how good they are. So that was a cool game. What are your guys' thoughts on that night? I mean, it was all over the place.
Well, I could be a little salty because Duke did beat the Badgers in the championship, but I'm kind of happy about it, not going to lie.
It was fun. I mean, Duke's got, 5 titles in his tenure? So it's like, if they have one sour night, America can enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Steve, anything on that game between the crying fans or just Coach K in general?
Imagine camping out for a month just to watch that.
I know. I
Like,
was
that's
thinking about
just
that. I was like,
funny.
that had to be why they were crying, right? Can
Like
we
that,
talk
that's
about this
cool.
for a
I mean,
minute?
that's cool. Like that they have the fan base where like they camp out. I mean, this is some big thing, but like I couldn't imagine just camping out for like a month and then
Yeah.
having to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I
And
feel
then
like
Coach K
these,
scolds you after the game.
yeah, these kids that were like, they show on the screen, right? I'm like, you probably have like no stake in this game, whatever. It's like, you're crying because you don't get your Instagram post or something. I don't know. But like, maybe the other thought is these were some of the kids that like have like wasted now a month of their life. I mean, it's a cool experience. It's a story to tell, but you want to be on the winning end of a game like that because now it's like, it's a cool story, but it wasn't the storybook ending that Duke so desperately wanted. And they had 96 former players there, something like that.
And
I mean,
too many.
that was tough. And the looks on those players' faces as that game was going on was kind of funny because, I mean, Duke had it for a while. They were up in the second half, and then North Carolina just goes on a run to close that game out. And some of those former players did not look pleased. And I think part of it is you have a really young team. That current group that Duke has is just so young. And so I don't know. It's tough, but yeah, that's how it went down. I mean, the NBA commissioner was there. There were celebrities there. But all credit to Coach K. He's had a fantastic career. I think in his 42 years, he sent like 60 players to the NBA, somewhere around there, which is super impressive. But 5 titles, I was thinking about it. It's like, it feels like they've been like the team to beat every year. I mean, 5 titles is great. Don't get me wrong. But like, when you're getting the top 5 recruits every year,
you should be winning more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
you should be losing to Mercer as a whatever seed.
Yeah,
Mercer.
the 15 versus 2, wasn't that?
15,
yeah, that's not good. But I mean, part of that is just their team chemistry might not always be there, just because there are a lot of guys that are used to being like superstars in their high school days. But either way, it'll be interesting because where does Duke go from here in the tournament? You guys think they're going to make any run? I feel like the ACC tournament, they've got a decent chance to win, and maybe we'll talk more about that. But like, I don't know. How do you feel about this current Duke group? Like, obviously they're talented, maybe the most talented team in the country, but like, can they get it done in big games?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think the ACC tournament's kind of theirs to lose.
You think. And do you think that loss maybe helps them? Like, it takes some pressure off now? It's like you guys already blew like your biggest game of the year because that meant so much to Coach K. Like,
for me, it's hard to say anything about March right now until the bracket comes out.
All right, fair enough. I'm just trying to take some notes here so I know when we're in like a bracket challenge. I'm like, all right, he's got Duke going to the Elite Eight or something, you know.
Matchups play a big role in March. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it all depends on who you match up against.
100%. And I feel like
watched them play that first half against Syracuse, and they didn't miss. They didn't miss a damn shot in the first half against Syracuse. That was preposterous. So like when they are on, and they're tough to beat.
Right, 100%.
There's 43 seconds left in the SoCon Championship, and Chattanooga leads by 1.
Oh my gosh! All right, so
it's 49-48.
Wow, defensive battle. Okay, so we'll be talking about that once we talk about. I guess once that's over. I guess one final thing with Duke that I just want to say is like, going off of like matchups. I feel like if they get like a really experienced team or a team that plays well together, it's going to be tough. But if it's talent versus talent, they could go on a run. So it'll really depend on matchups. So excited for a week from today when we're looking at our brackets and filling them out. But let's move on to teams that are in that. We'll start with the first team that got in, which was a team that was going to be in regardless, and that's Murray State. They go undefeated in conference play, win their conference tournament, but they nearly lost that OVC title game against Morehead State. It was 71-67. Morehead State played a heck of a game, and they were obviously playing for their lives. So it's kind of heartbreaking for them because I doubt they would get a bid. It was a good game.
I don't think Lenardi has them in as of now.
Yeah. They played their hearts out, and maybe they'll get an NIT bid. I have no idea. But that's tough. That's tough because Murray State is so good this year that you had to play a near perfect game, and they did, and still couldn't take down Murray State. They're just a really special team this year for the OVC, at least. They're ranked in the top, 20 probably now? I haven't looked at the new ranking.
I think.
Yeah, so that's super impressive. They could be a threat come the NCAA tournament. They'll get a nice week and a half off here, so
CBS
good for them.
has them as an 8 seed, and Lenardi has them as a 9 seed. So
Okay.
they're not being
I don't know. I feel like
maybe it is.
That's almost harsh, but
yeah,
they're a good team. I wouldn't want to play them if I was a 1 seed.
No.
I would not want to play them in the second round. All right. Next team that got in was Longwood, which I had never heard of them.
Yeah, I can't say.
Congrats to them. They won the Big South in dominant fashion, 79-58 over Winthrop. It is their first NCAA tournament appearance in school history.
Yeah.
That's cool, and I feel like we've seen this with like some of these teams. Those are the type of schools that have the Cinderella runs. They probably won't go – I wouldn't think they would get any further than the Sweet 16, but if they match up well, they're playing really well right now, and it's that like first bid ever. You know their entire school is going to be like showing up to that game.
Depends.
Wherever they get seated.
Right now they're as a 15 seed in the bracketology, so –
Who's the two that they've got with them?
CBS has them as Duke, and ESPN has them Kentucky.
Those are two seeds I would not want to face.
Yeah.
But we're just kind of talking about this Duke group. Who knows? Duke,
funny.
Longwood,
That would be funny.
March 7th, right now. Could Longwood beat Duke? We have no idea what the bracket looks like. We'll see, but we can go back to this clip if they do. Yeah, but congrats to Longwood. That's pretty sweet. And then the other bid that's gotten in so far, and we're about to get 2 more really soon, is Loyola Chicago. They've been really good the last few years. They beat Drake 64-58, win the MVC. Do we have another run for Sister Jean and company, or do you think their tournament magic is maybe running out?
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. They ruined my bracket last year.
They weren't that great in their comp. They were finished like 4th in their conference this year.
Interesting.
I get it.
So.
I get it. It's, you never know, but
yeah, they might have that March magic then.
Yeah.
Who knows? But they ruined my bracket last year, so I'm mad at them. So I'm probably gonna give them the boot early, or maybe I should give them a little run because I didn't last time. I don't know. We'll see. But congrats to them. Do we have any news on SoCon or Sunbelt?
Oh, it's going into overtime.
Oh, okay. Season on the line. That's fair enough.
Jim, your screen did just go black.
Yep. I'm getting our guest in. So he just messaged me. So hopefully he'll be in soon. Okay, so that's it right now for the teams that are in. While we're kind of waiting for our guest, you guys got anything you guys just want to like talk about? Otherwise, we'll talk about those games once they finish up, and then we'll just kind of talk into other bracketology and conference tournament stuff. Anything I missed, like any games recently, or
no? But one thing
thing
I found interesting,
yeah,
was did you see this thing with like Bellarmine in the Atlantic Sun, where they're in the conference championship and if they win, they're ineligible to go to the NCAA tournament because they haven't been in D1 for 5 years. Which I think is absolute terrible rule.
Interesting. That's a horrible.
If you're good,
rule.
Enough to win your conference tournament, you should be in there. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah,
Our
they're
guest is here.
playing.
I'm gonna bring him in. All right.
All right, yeah, bring him in.
All right.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. I just want to make sure. Is it Zain Bando? Am I saying that right?
It's Zan.
Zan? Okay. Well, welcome,
Yep.
Zan. So great to have you. Kind of a wild last 24 hours, huh?
Oh yeah. That's probably the understatement of the decade so far. Yeah, I literally have. I mean, even though obviously Illinois won, I literally have no idea how that even happened. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, I did a little research on you. I realized you are like a Fighting Illini super fan. Would you say that?
That is very accurate. Yeah.
Awesome. And you're the score box operator for them then?
Yeah. So I'm the score box operator for the women's basketball team.
Okay.
And for the men's basketball team, I get to go as a fan. So
okay, awesome.
Yeah, it's
super cool.
It's a nice trade-off.
Yeah. I was looking. You have like the most impressive resume I've ever seen for a college student. Like I saw you were involved in like the BTN Student U Crew, Rolling Illini radio show. You're working on fan-sided stuff. So you want to be a journalist, I assume, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So what would be like, I guess, your dream job? Because it seems like you're doing a lot of amazing things already.
Thank you. I mean, the dream job would hopefully be working at ESPN one day, but I'd like to start off by being a beat writer for a team. It would be cool to cover the same team every single day, and yeah, I mean that would be an ideal start.
100%. Well, that's awesome. I feel like you are well on your way to doing that. All right, so now I really want to talk about last night, and obviously you went like super viral during your court storm, and I see the flag in the background with the bar stool. They were noticing you, which is so awesome. I first saw you with your reply to Big Cat when he called you a legend, and like I was going through your Twitter feed, like a bunch of different Barstool accounts picked up you storming the court. How did that make you feel, like seeing that? Like clearly you're a fan of them. Like how was that? Like were you starstruck at all?
Oh, it's absolutely surreal. I mean, when you have Dave Portnoy retweeting the literal Barstool Sports tweet, when you have Pardon My Take posting it on their Instagram as a reel, like just things that I would have never thought were possible. I mean, let me tell you guys this. I tweeted that out thinking that nothing was going to come of it, and in 10 minutes I had over 200 likes on that tweet.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was insane. I was waiting for the players to come back into the tunnel because I wanted to embrace them, and actually a couple of the players signed my hat that I was wearing.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it was something that I could have never imagined. Actually, I haven't told you guys this yet, but when I was in high school, I'm from Downers Grove, so I went into Downers Grove North High School. It's a high school in the western suburbs, and I used to be a basketball and football manager while I was there. So my ex varsity basketball coach was the first person to bring me up to speed with the tweet, and I'm like, wait, what does this tweet mean? So I click on it, and sure enough, it's a video of me showing the court. This cannot be real. So
cool.
It's been a wild ride. I think the last time I checked, my reply to Big Cat now has 5,000 likes or something like that.
Wow.
Just 24 hours ago, if you would have told me that I would be interacting with Big Cat after Illinois' win and clinching a Big Ten regular season title, I would have called you absolutely nuts. So, yeah.
I mean, that's so amazing. Congrats on that. And I was like looking at like all your social medias, and like between Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all those platforms, it seems like you have like close to like 10,000 followers now. What were you at going into that? Because I know you're verified on Twitter, so you had a following before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I did. I hovered around on Twitter specifically, like late 2000s and then early 3000s, but nothing like what last night was. I think I've had over 100+ new people
Wow.
follow me on Twitter, and maybe like 50 more people on Instagram than what I had previously. Actually, I can tell you guys right now what it is.
Okay.
But at the moment on Instagram, I'm 21 followers away from 4,000. Just last night I was well below that. For sure I was at like I would say 3,000, probably 750 or something like that. So
Wow.
to see that growth overnight on Instagram is unbelievable. And then Twitter, I would say on Twitter, what would it be? So on Twitter, I have 3,377 followers now, and before I was maybe at like 2,700.
Jeez.
So it grew pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So would you say that was like the most viral you've ever gone?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's not even close.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. So this is a tweet reply you said to the State Farm Center, and I thought this was like the coolest tweet of all time. It wasn't one that went viral, but you said it was after like they were showing the celebration. You said, next time though, make sure your security is prepared. They didn't want me on the floor, but there was no way I wasn't missing that. I thought that was super cool. It kind of shows how much of a super fan you were. So like, at what point did you realize that there was an opportunity to storm the court? Like, was it before the game that you were thinking that, or as the game was going on? What did you think? Like, when did you realize there might be a court storm tonight?
Well, I don't know if any of you guys, Adam, Bigby, or Jim, did you guys watch Nebraska versus Wisconsin yesterday?
Well, yeah. So actually, Adam and I are Badger fans, so we watched it all right. And I was really upset after the Badgers lost until I saw your tweet, and I go, you know what? Illinois fans are so happy. So it made me happy to see you guys happy. And I was like, you know what? Good for them. And so that kind of changed my tune, which was why I was like so interested to have you on, because seriously, like watching you guys like have that celebration made me really happy. But
so after Nebraska won is when I thought that this was a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then I may have misheard them or something, but one of like the Illinois like facility and services people went up to like one of the higher up security guards, and I could read his lips, and he said, "Oh no, we're not storming." So my thought was, okay, we're not going to do it. And I started to talk to some people around me. I'm like, are they spreading are they spreading lies here? Like, are we gonna not do this? Like, this would be a travesty if we didn't do this. And,
right.
And I talked to some people, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do it no matter what security says. So I go over to the ramp with 30 seconds left, and there's two old security guards there, and they're like, you need to back up. You're not gonna go on the court. If you go on the court, you're gonna get trampled. And then they won the game. And I just started sprinting. You can't see it in the video, but one of the older security guards decided it would be a good idea to grab on the back of my chair and hold me back.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
That didn't work out for very long. I was on the court all right. So yeah. And,
wow.
I didn't really think much of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally had no idea that the tweet existed until I was in the tunnel waiting for the players. Well, I just figured, oh, nothing's gonna come in. It's just regular court storm. And then when I saw Big Cat's tweet, I'm like, okay, this is something else. So yeah, that's why I replied to them. I mean, they've always been great to me. They've interacted with my stuff too. I was surprised that they weren't prepared for the students to do that. I just don't understand why they wouldn't expect it, considering that they were playing for a share of the title.
Right. And that was Illinois' first title since 2005. So, like, obviously you're going to storm the court. Like, what a great moment for you guys. Illinois has been a great program. So it was nice to see that they got the Big Ten title, because definitely a program that's deserved it.
I don't want to interrupt, but Chattanooga just hit a buzzer beater to beat Furman by 1 in the SoCon championship.
Wow. Okay. So that's pretty cool.
that is cool. They're a team who wasn't really scared too much going into the tournament, but that I'm sure that gives them plenty of momentum and hopefully a better seed come next week. I would assume.
Yeah. Wow. Good for them. It's always fun to see buzzer beaters in March, and especially to go to the NCAA tournament. So congrats to them. I want to keep going with this interview, but thank you for that, Adam. That's really exciting. So, all right. You had the entire court storm. You had all this social media recognition. What would you say was the most exciting part of last night for you?
Oh, the most exciting part of last night for me was people sending me pictures of the moment being captured of me on the jumbotron while this was all happening.
So cool. That's so cool.
That was probably the coolest part.
Oh, man. Well, I love it. I love a good court storm, and I just love a good basketball environment. So I'm really happy for you. All right. Let's see here. One other question I just want to ask. When you were storming the court, like, and that guy was, like, kind of trying to grab you, like, how did you, like, manage, like, did you, when you were just going, like, did you think, like, what was going through your mind at that moment? Like, were you nervous, like, something was going to happen, or?
I was nervous that, I'll be honest with you, I was nervous that the cops were going to come in after me because there were like police officers on the court too. But then one of my friends who was behind the security guard pretty much said, "Give it up and let him go." So
that's awesome.
He took his hands off. But
good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you got to experience it because clearly there aren't really any other fans there that are bigger fans than you. So that is super awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate the compliment.
Yeah. So now I have to ask you. I want your opinion. Illinois is playing really well right now. Where do you think they're going to go this year? Do you think they're going to win the Big Ten tournament? You think they could win it all?
Yeah, I think they're going to win the Big Ten tournament again. I don't think it's a question of how. It's a question of who they're going to be facing in the final.
All right.
Okay. I would love to see a Purdue rematch. We've lost to them twice. The first game was unbelievable. The second game, we got our teeth kicked in. It would be nice to see a third game between the two because I truly think the two best teams in the Big Ten, no disrespect to Wisconsin, but I truly feel that the two best teams in the Big Ten are Purdue and Illinois right now.
Fair enough.
And that would be ideally the matchup that I would want to see. Yeah. And then I think in terms of the NCAA tournament, this team is a high ceiling. I think this team is good enough to go to the Final Four. They're good enough to cut down the nets. It's just, can they stay healthy? Can they not turn the ball over? As you guys have noticed, the last 6 or 7 games, they'll have big leads and they'll let them squander away. Right. One of those examples was Ohio State. Granted, they had to come back to make it interesting, but I just feel like if they get into that situation where they're in a big hole, I don't know if they can get out of it, but this team for sure has a chance to do some major things. This 100%. Margin in the NCAA tournament for sure.
Yeah. What would you say the difference is between this year's group and last year's group? Obviously, last year they were a 1 seed. I personally had them winning it all last year. And you're like around the team. Have you noticed like a difference between like maybe like the chemistry or anything?
I mean, I'd say this year's team, what's different about them is they have one common goal, and I feel like they recognize that with Kofi coming back, he made a promise to the city of Champaign and to the University of Illinois that he wasn't going to leave the program without a national championship. He said it in his return video in July of 2021, and I think really sticking to it. I feel like there's so much hype and expectation around this team a year ago that I don't think they really realized how good they actually were, and it ultimately cost them because they played down to their competition. They realize it's a bad taste in their mouth. Trent and DeMonte are the fifth-year seniors. They want nothing more than to go out with a ring, and I think they're going to do everything they can or die trying to get to New Orleans in early April. And you know what? I think right now I can say with confidence that Illinois is one of these teams that unless you follow them religiously as I do, I don't think people realize how good this Illinois team actually is. And I think that if they can pick up the pieces, and again, like it'd be fun to not turn the ball over, play better defense, and get out to some more comfortable leads. They could easily coast the lead 8 based on who
100%.
they get. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they are a really talented team, so look forward to seeing that. Adam, Beeve, you guys got any questions for him?
No, I think you kind of hit on everything. Obviously, I've been a part of one court storming in my life in Madison, and it's probably up there for one of the best days of my life. So I understand what you're feeling as well.
Yeah. And not to take a dig, but I think our court storm was more exciting than Wisconsin a week ago. So
fair enough. Yeah. And you guys, was it Carl from Barstool that was there?
Yeah, Carl was there.
Yeah, so you guys had Carl, we had Big Cat, both pretty cool, pretty cool guys to have on your side there, without a doubt. Yeah,
sure. And I forgot to mention, I do think the Big Ten this year in particular is the deepest it's ever been, which means that the Big Ten tournament this weekend is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Expect every single day to be better than the day before. For sure.
100%. And hey, once it comes to the NCAA tournament, I've always been a big, I like to back the Big Ten. So I'm going to be rooting for you guys as long as they're not playing the Badgers. And I think you guys could have a really phenomenal postseason here. So is there anything else you want to say while you're on? Plug anything or anything like that?
Last thing I wanted to say is, I appreciate you guys being the ones to reach out to have me on as your first guest. And I wanted to ask, so in terms of the premise of the podcast, are you hoping to get one guest on per week? Is it just going to be you three? How is the Varsity podcast gonna shape out for you guys?
Well, first of all, I just want to say we're honored to have you as our first guest. And so this was kind of just put together last week. We wanted to just talk about college sports in general. So mainly college basketball and college football, but maybe some other sports we'll cover a little bit. And we weren't really planning on doing guests just because we're three friends that we've been friends since high school. And then we saw you last night and it was I'm going to try because I was fascinated by everything that happened last night on social media. So we weren't going to have guests, but who knows? Maybe we'll try to get some super fans every week. It was really, really cool to have you on. Hopefully we will get other guests at some point, but the plan originally was just the three of us. And it was just awesome that you were willing to come on and just such a huge honor for us. And yeah, that's kind of what we're at right now.
Oh yeah, anytime. And again, I appreciate you guys reaching out. I wish you is nothing but the best of success as you guys get started. And yeah, thank you. Thank you guys again. It was a real pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And again, good luck with you finishing up school, and good luck to Illinois in the tournament. And we'll be thinking of you whenever they're playing.
Thanks, and good luck to Wisconsin as well, guys.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Take care, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Wow. What a fantastic guest, guys.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. And
took a little dig at my court storm, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll accept that.
Yeah. That was pretty wild. The story with the guy grabbing onto him. Who would have thought? I just assumed they would they'd just let him, but you don't think about those things. The security was kind of trying to stop him almost, but I loved his energy. It was clearly he just wants to soak in these moments, and it's awesome. So great guest. I didn't expect to have a guest, and we had an awesome first guest. So it's going to be tough to follow that one up, but all right, let's get into whatever was going on in those games. So we saw a buzzer beater.
Well, okay, so Furman was tied at 61.
Okay.
Well, Furman made a 3 to tie it in regulation.
All right.
Late in the game. And then Furman, it was tied at 61. They dribbled up and made a layup with 4 seconds left. And then they passed it in. The guy dribbled from the right side up just in front of half court. Halfway between the 3-point line and half court. A double team, threw it up there, and nothing but net.
Wow. Well, that's March for you. Wow, that's awesome.
I'm sure it's everywhere out there on the internet by now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I just watched a video.
That's kind of
That's
cool because I
crazy.
saw your reaction. I'm like, what is he reacting to? So that's I'm glad you shared it because clearly he's super into all college basketball. So he was excited about that as well. Super awesome. What was going on with the other game? Has that finished?
Oh yeah, Georgia State won by 9, I believe.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I tried to look, and then ESPN started playing stuff out loud, so I had to exit out very quickly.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, two more bids have been punched. So now we have 5 teams in.
Yep.
Let's kind of talk about the bracket a little bit. Obviously, Joe Lenardi has been every day kind of keeping up with what his new bracket is. And is there anything that's like standing out? I know you had it pulled up.
Yeah, I do have it here.
Are there anything worth noting? Like, I guess more at like the top of the bracket. Do you think anyone's like overseeded right now? Underseeded?
I'm a bit shocked the Badgers stayed at a 2 seed in this bracket.
100%.
But I guess he values the 2-0 over Purdue because he is Purdue. Although I guess you can argue Tennessee, but Tennessee plays really well at home, but they haven't. I mean, they're 23-7. They lost to Villanova by 18. They lost to Texas Tech. They beat Alabama at home. They lost to Arizona at home. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's a huge win.
But then they lost to LSU, lost to Alabama, lost to Texas, and then Arkansas. But they beat a lot of good teams. They play really well at home.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I guess we'll kind of have to see. Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that he had the Badgers at the 2. I thought that was like a mistake, honestly. But we'll see. I mean, the Big Ten tournament's going to be really important for that. All the conference tournaments are going to make a huge difference, I think, at the top seeding because there are so many teams that could very well lose. And tonight, Gonzaga, the number 1 overall team, has got a big game. And
they're up 16-5 with 13 to play in the first half.
All right, so they're probably not going to have to worry about their seeding. They'll be a 1 seed. All right, interesting. So, all right, list me let's go with 1 through 3 seeds. Like, just let's go team by team, and we'll say, do you think they're a contender or a pretender?
Which bracket you want me to use, Lenardi's or CBS?
Let's go Joe Lenardi's. I feel like he puts a lot into it.
Gonzaga is obviously the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Start with them. I would say they're probably a title contender.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue otherwise.
Yep. Okay.
Staying in that region, the number 2 is Wisconsin. It's tough. It's really tough for me.
Here's
they can beat anyone, they can lose to anyone, honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
So they match up. They match up with Long Beach State in 15. I think you win that game.
Yeah, 100%.
Then you have Colorado State, Wake Forest. I think you beat both of those.
Either team.
You're in Milwaukee.
Sure.
You're in Milwaukee.
Yep. 100%.
The 3 seed in that region is Texas Tech. I think
that's a good matchup for the Badgers.
But you can run into a team like Arkansas. Michigan's in that.
I would love to see a Wisconsin-Michigan rematch.
Wisconsin-Michigan rematch would just be perfect.
So much fun.
I don't want to.
It would be very tough if Wisconsin lost, but I don't think you could get a more hyped-up game than that, just solely because of what happened and then social media's reaction to it. Juwan, I would love to see his reaction to getting that. I mean, it would be a fun game, but oh gosh, I don't know.
I think they could surprise teams in March, to be honest.
Yeah,
really,
they
got the talent.
Michigan's starting to play a little bit.
All right, in the East region, Kansas is the 1 seed. I think they're a contender.
You think?
I don't know.
I have a tough time with them because every year for like 7 years I picked them and they never won. So I don't know. We'll see. I think they'll probably be. I don't think this group would win a championship.
So they also have Kentucky in that region, and I would take Kentucky to be
100%. Kentucky's going to be a weird team though, because I could also I feel like Kentucky might be the team to beat, but also I could see them losing early, like a shocking upset. So
it's a tough region too. They have Kansas, Houston, Illinois, Ohio State, Villanova, USC. Notre Dame, Kentucky.
Oh, I would hate to be in that region.
Memphis is in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, after talking about Illinois, I'm kind of like, oh gosh, am I going to have them on my bracket again? Or are they going to? Because I don't know. He seemed he talked highly of the group, and I don't know when you hear kind of inside the locker room sort of stuff, or right outside the locker room, I suppose. It makes you wonder. So that would be a really interesting region. All right. Who else?
South is Baylor. I think they lost to one of I can't say his name. He's got. I think it's. I forget his name. They lost one of their big players.
Okay. Yeah. Not entirely sure, but
his name's it's Jonathan. It's like that. He's got two last names. I can't pronounce it. Touchma. I really can't. But he was really.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's also
they have
they've done well without
experience on Baylor, but I don't know. I feel like it's tough to repeat, especially in college basketball, and I feel like they've kind of been a little inconsistent as of late. So
Duke's the 2 in that region.
That's tough because Duke, they're going to run into problems if they get a team that really plays well together.
Yeah.
Or if they don't, they are so talented that I don't know.
Tennessee's the 3, and that's where I think they could lose because they play really well on their home court.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tougher when you're not at home.
Yep.
Iowa's the 6, and I think Iowa could make a run.
Okay. Yeah, Iowa's playing incredibly well. Obviously, they lost last night. Doesn't take away from anything that they've done over the last couple of weeks, just because Illinois is a really strong team too, and who knows with that.
Alabama's in that region as well, and I think they're a team that lives and dies by the 3.
Yeah,
they take 30,
they're so weird. They're
almost
so
33s a game, I want to say. They take it's up there in number of threes a game. They take a lot of them. They take 33s a game, and so
that's a lot in college.
Yeah, you're either making them or you're not, and if you're not, you're in trouble.
Right.
But that also leads you to beating any team.
Right. So that they're like the toughest team to have on your bracket because they could beat anyone and they could lose to anyone. So
UCLA is the 4 in that region as well, which I'm
not super high on them this year, but okay.
And then the last region, Arizona's the 1.
Arizona's good.
I think so too, but I just don't believe
I wouldn't probably have them winning a title.
Yeah.
But they're good.
Auburn's
they were playing really well for a while there.
Auburn's the 2 in that region.
Oh. So Auburn, I feel like, has the potential to be the best team in this country. But
Purdue's the 3.
Oh.
I
would not want to be in that region either. Wow. Okay.
I like Purdue. I think Purdue can make a run.
Purdue's, I think, that'll be tough. I feel like Purdue and Auburn, I'd take both over Arizona probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if those two ended up playing each other, that would be a really good game. All right. That was kind of the contenders, pretenders. What about bubble teams? Do you have is there a list of bubble teams that you could look at? Okay.
Yeah.
And let's just say, do you think they should be in, out, or if they are out right now, what would they have to do to get in?
So he puts it as last 4 buys, last 4 in, first 4 out, and next 4 out.
Okay, we'll go with those teams.
Wake Forest is the last 4 buys. So
I would assume they're probably. I mean, okay. Here's the thing: with the way their conference is played this year, I would say it's almost so bad that you'll have to win a round in the ACC tournament. Don't you think? Because if you don't win a round in the ACC tournament in a weak year, and you're already kind of on the fringe, I feel like if they win one, they're in for sure. If they don't, it would be interesting.
They play the winner of Pittsburgh and Boston College. So
yeah, I would say they should win that. And if they don't, it'll be interesting. If they do, I feel like they don't need to worry about it.
Creighton's another one.
Okay. Creighton, they
lost one of their major players the other day.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say they lost by 20 to Providence when Providence stormed the court, because that was the game that Providence clinched the conference. It's they obviously don't seem like. I don't think they're going to be too much of a threat if they get in. And
they're at 10 right now. Memphis,
they'll probably get in.
Memphis is the next team, and I think they just kind of solidified their.
Yeah, 100%. That was a massive win for them. They have a pretty solid record, and we'll see how they do in their conference tournament. But they're playing well right now.
Michigan's the last one with the last 4 bye, and I think they kind of solidified their spot.
Yeah,
too.
I would be there. I think there would be too much repercussion, even if they lose right away. I think the only team right now in the Big Ten that is like on the bubble is Indiana. I think every other team. You think Michigan State maybe?
No, Rutgers.
Oh,
he's got them as his last 4 in.
I think they're in, right? I don't know. Maybe
I would think so. They
have so many.
The 4th seed in the Big Ten, right?
Yeah, they have bad losses though. So
let's see. They lost to DePaul. They lost to Lafayette. And they lost to UMass early in the year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I do think timing does matter. I think there should be some recency bias.
And they did lose to Illinois by 35 early in the year, first Big Ten game.
That's brutal.
Then they lost to Seton Hall by 14. But then,
I don't want to put it on you guys. They beat Wisconsin and Madison.
They did. 100%.
And then they ripped off. Then they lost to Maryland by 18, lost to Minnesota by 3.
Oh gosh.
Lost to Northwestern, but then they ripped off a 21-point win against Michigan State, 2-point win against Ohio State. They beat the Badgers by 8 at home at Wisconsin. Then they beat Illinois at home by 11.
And they beat Purdue earlier in the year, didn't they?
Yes, by 2 when Purdue was the best team in the country.
Yeah. I mean, it's such. I feel like you have to. A team that's done all that, despite their losses, you have to throw them in, right?
I think they're in, but they're the 4th seed in the Big Ten. They're the 4th seed in the Big Ten. I don't think you can argue that.
Right.
Wyoming's one of them. I don't know enough really about.
Yeah, I couldn't say a thing. I would guess. I don't know where they're at in their conference tournament, but I would guess they'd probably have to perform decent.
And then the other one was another one that is on the fringe for me is Indiana.
2 weeks ago they were in, and now I'm like,
if they beat Michigan, they got to beat Michigan, and then if they lose a close one to Illinois, are they in? Because that's what they get.
I think so. I think they have to beat Illinois. I don't know. I guess it depends the games. Like if they blow out Michigan and then a close one, maybe. That's tough. I would not want to be on the committee.
Then BYU's on the first 4 out as well, but they just lost. They've already lost in the conference tournament.
Yeah, they're done.
I don't think they stand a chance. They lost to Gonzaga by 33 at home.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you.
Yeah. But I want to continue with what B was talking about before he joined.
Oh, right. 100%.
Oh, it's like the Bellarmine team?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're – let me find this again. Yeah, so they're not eligible. They're in their conference championship tomorrow, I believe, and they are not eligible to play in the tournament because they haven't been in D1 for, I think, 5 years, I think is the rule, which is terrible. Because, like I said, if you're good enough to get in to win your conference championship, you're good enough to make the tournament.
That's probably the biggest horse crap I've ever heard.
That's bad.
Yeah. So they're playing Jacksonville, and if Jacksonville wins, they go. But if Bellarmine, who's ineligible, wins, it's actually Jacksonville State who goes to the tournament, which is a team that Jackson beat to get to the conference championship.
Is it because they won the regular season title, or how
yes, because they won the regular season title.
Oh, that's horrible.
So Bellarmine would beat Jacksonville, but Jacksonville, even being in the conference championship, doesn't get to go. It's just it's the regular season champion.
I hate everything.
That's all just so crazy.
I mean, you can't really feel bad for Jacksonville though, or Jacksonville State, whoever you said, because they shouldn't be in either. It should be Bellarmine, but that's horrible.
Should be. Games tomorrow. I mean, Bellarmine might not even win. We don't know if Bellarmine's even going to win.
Right.
They haven't played the championship yet, but yes.
So, okay, if Bellarmine wins, do they claim a national title? You can't argue against it.
Florida State
I
pretty
didn't
much
give them
did in
a chance.
2020.
I pulled up their schedule. They played Gonzaga early in the year and lost by 42, so probably not.
Okay, all right. They're not.
They
playing
played
in the
a tough
national
schedule.
title.
They played UCLA, only lost by 13. They played Purdue, and then they lost by 29 to Purdue. They played Murray State. I mean, they played some tough teams.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about
Respect
that.
to them. I'm rooting for them.
That's really
You know what? I might get a T-shirt that says Bellarmine National Champs. Who knows?
That's weird. I didn't know that was a rule, to be honest.
Yeah. So like St. Thomas then would be.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
same.
until like yesterday. Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Is St. Thomas still alive?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Probably not. But
Yeah, I think they were bad this year.
yeah, who knows? But yeah, all right. Well, that's fascinating. All right, so conference. It's conference. It's champ week.
It is.
Conference tournaments. Let's talk about like the big conferences, the power conferences. Obviously, we've kind of touched on some of the smaller mid majors, but all right, let's just go with. Should we just go with like who we think is going to win each of the power conferences?
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest.
All right, we'll start with ACC. I feel like we're probably all in agreement, but maybe not.
I got Duke.
Yeah,
Duke.
100%. I feel like after that embarrassment on Saturday, this team is going to play maybe with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and also they have nothing to lose now. You've already embarrassed your entire program in front of the entire world, in front of all these Duke legends. Like you're not playing for pride at this point. You're playing for your NBA draft stock, which might be good, or maybe they'll go out horrendously. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
But yeah, the ACC's bad this year. They're terrible.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we go? Let's go with Big 12. This is tough. Big 12 is a tough conference this year.
Probably go with Baylor.
You go with Baylor.
Kansas gets the winner of K-State, West Virginia. Baylor plays Oklahoma right away, and then they're on the same side as Texas Tech, Iowa State.
What's Texas's path?
They play TCU, and then they get the winner of Kansas, and then whoever K-State, West Virginia.
Where and do you know where the conference tournament's being held? Does it say?
Kansas City.
I was gonna. You know what? I'll say it because I want to be different. I'm going with Texas. They could lose immediately, but I watched that game against Kansas, and it was at KU, and they looked pretty good. Like they fought hard, and so who knows? They probably won't win, but go with Texas.
I'll just go different from you guys. I'll take Kansas.
All right, fair enough.
I think Iowa State or Texas Tech, the winner of that game could make a run as well, to be honest.
Yeah, those are the two most
I
inconsistent
thought about giving
teams
Texas Tech some consideration, but
yeah,
But
I feel like
I
those
have to go
teams
Baylor.
are very dangerous. So we'll see. I like that we're all going different there. All right, SEC.
Okay, I'll let you guys go.
Okay,
probably Kentucky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
All
mean,
three.
Auburn's super good, but
none of us are giving
I
Auburn.
just don't know. I just feel like
Oscar Tshiebwe's a monster, dude. That guy averages like
Yeah.
16 points and 15 rebounds.
yeah, Kentucky. I feel like the conference tournament is where Kentucky's really going to shine and show, because I feel like Calipari's like he's an experienced coach. He's gonna have his guys ready for that tournament, and I think some of these other programs, they haven't been quite as dominant as Kentucky. So it's like, let's show them that Kentucky is back this year, you know.
Although Alabama, like I said,
Alabama's dangerous.
They win and
Can
die by
they
degree.
shoot really well for an entire tournament?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's where it's like, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, Tennessee is good.
Arkansas, but I think it's Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're tough. I mean, they will have to play Alabama or the winner of Vanderbilt, Georgia. So, because they're the 3 seed, Kentucky's a 3 seed.
Yeah.
In there, so Alabama plays the winner of Vanderbilt, Georgia, which then they should win that game. So they'll probably play Alabama on
Georgia's
Friday.
historically bad this year, by the way.
They'll probably play Alabama on Friday. I don't think I don't think it's an easy game.
Right. That could be.
Kentucky can get bounced right away in the SEC tournament.
Yep. Yeah.
But that's my pick. I'd go Kentucky.
Yeah. I think that's.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like a lot of people are pretty high on Auburn this year too. So I feel like if we're right, hey, it might just say something about the Varsity podcast. I don't know. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. You can't predict this kind of stuff. It's March. All right. Big East.
Big East.
Big East is going to be interesting. Oh gosh.
I was at a Marquette game 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Who did they play?
They played Georgetown, so.
Okay. Well, how did they look though?
Georgetown?
No, Marquette.
Good. It's tough. Marquette's fast. They play very quick. They shoot a lot of threes. They're up and down. But I just don't know if anyone. Providence maybe. I don't think they beat Villanova.
Okay, so you're going Villanova?
I was gonna go Villanova as well, Adam.
It's top heavy though because you got
Although
UConn.
UConn, watch out for UConn.
That's what I was gonna.
Yeah.
I'm going. With
You were gonna go for
So,
UConn.
yeah, I feel like I just have not been sold on Villanova at all this year, and I feel bad for not picking Providence, but I feel like that's the magic of their season. They continue to get slept on, so I'm going to continue sleeping on them. Nope, I'm not picking Providence.
I'm not either. I don't.
I gotta watch when I'm using weird language like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting for Providence honestly because they've had a really fun season, but I'm going with UConn. All right. Okay. Now we have who do we have? Pac-12.
I think it's Arizona. I don't think anyone competes.
Gotta
with
be Arizona.
Yeah, I think USC and UCLA are extremely overrated this year.
I think UCLA is just riding off the high they had last year.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they were even that great last year. They were in a
Right.
lot of
And it was so weird because what are they ranked? Like fourth coming into this year or something stupid?
Something high.
And it was like if they didn't, and I remember if they didn't, seeing something that said like if they didn't win their playing game, they'd be unranked. Like it was like
preseason they were ranked 2.
That's outrageous. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't expect them to win the conference tournament. I don't love Arizona. Let me look at this. I gotta look at their stand. I think it could be like a random team.
Colorado just beat Arizona, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the game they court stormed.
Like in Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon every year.
They're always good.
They show up in March every year. So
yeah,
I don't think it's UCLA, USC. It could be a random team as well.
Maybe. Give me Washington State. They've won 3 in a row. Arizona State's won 4 in a row, but I'm taking Washington State. They've won 3 in a row.
If I'm not going Arizona, I'd go Colorado.
All right. I like it.
I guess I'd go Oregon if it wasn't Arizona.
Fair enough. I think, who knows? Maybe Arizona
I don't know.
goes and wins, but I don't know.
I'm a huge
just
West
not
Coast
super
basketball
sold
guy.
on them. Also, Arizona was 17-0 at home. You don't play the conference tournament at home, so
yeah,
we'll see. All right. Last but not least, I had to save it. It's the Big Ten.
Yep.
Badgers' path got significantly harder yesterday because you don't want to play both Purdue and Illinois. And
I got Purdue,
tough.
I think.
Okay. I respect that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's probably a smart pick. Ah, gosh. What seed did Iowa end up? 5?
They get the winner of Nebraska Northwestern, and then they get Rutgers.
I think Iowa can beat Rutgers.
Would they be on Illinois' side?
Yeah. I think they can win the conference tournament.
Could they knock off
Iowa
Illinois?
revenge game. They're playing really well. But I don't think they beat Purdue. And I don't think they beat the Badgers. But I don't
Does
I don't want to
Wisconsin
be
beat
biased
Purdue
and say
though?
the Badgers are
Wisconsin
gonna win.
beat Purdue twice this year.
Yeah, which is you're not going to beat a team 3 times.
No,
And
I don't think they beat them at it. It took 37 points at Purdue, and then it took a very rowdy Kohl Center.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Beav here and say it's Purdue.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Nebraska beats Northwestern round 1 though. I think Nebraska's hot.
Nebraska, yeah,
Gotta ride that win. Gotta
maybe
ride
Nebraska
that
pulls it off, and then that loss doesn't look so bad for the Badgers.
I think the most interesting start is Indiana-Michigan though.
I was just gonna say I want to see how Michigan plays.
Their life, and Michigan is going to go on a Michigan could be tough because they're going to be like
They're
they
getting
get
Juwan
Juwan
back.
back, and they want to prove,
Yep.
oh, we are the team that everyone thought we were. Who knows? Who knows? It's a lot of teams have a lot to play for. I feel like the Big Ten it's almost like a pride thing right now, just because of all the drama going on within the conference. At least it seems like the Badgers are in the center of a lot of drama, but we'll see. Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else? I feel like we've kind of covered a lot. We've been going for over an hour now.
Yeah, I think we hit majority.
Yeah, awesome. I honestly didn't expect us to go more than like 30 minutes. I thought we'd run out of things to talk about. This was great.
Yep. That interview
Zain was fantastic.
Awesome.
It was.
Awesome guest, so that's great. All right. We do want to be a college sports podcast in general. You guys got anything going on? I mean, college baseball is getting started. I've never had a team.
No,
Maybe we should find a team for me to root for.
Maybe a team for the podcast.
Oh, podcast team that we follow?
Yeah, there's not one
love
in Wisconsin. It's not like Wisconsin has one.
I know.
Yeah, Wisconsin doesn't
All right,
have
who are
one.
we following this year?
I mean,
NC State.
NC State. Are they good?
22nd right now.
They've got Tommy Tanks who hits nukes.
Screw it. NC State it is. I like that. They're not.
They got screwed out of the tournament last year. They got screwed out of the tournament last year. Remember, they forced them out because of COVID.
Oh, I actually did see that.
That was the team that got forced out because of COVID last year.
World Series I kind of watched. All right.
Yeah.
We'll go NC State.
NC
All right.
State.
Varsity is backing NC State.
Yep. NC State baseball podcast.
All right. I love it. Okay. College hockey. Do either of you guys really follow that?
Badgers stunk this year.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I don't know what to talk about. I mean,
okay.
Conference tournaments are still going
coming
on.
up in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah,
conference tournaments are going on right now.
Game one.
Wisconsin. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wisconsin had the leg up, and they lost the last two. But
who do we know who's going to win it all? Any predictions? Anyone throwing something out? Boston College
ballsy.
good. I feel like they're normally
not ballsy, but Quinnipiac. That's the team. I'm going Quinnipiac.
All right.
They don't let up goals.
Sold on that. I love it. Okay.
They average less than a goal given up a game.
Okay. All right.
It's like 0.9 something goals against the game.
Jeez Louise.
Or
Is there a goalie already
State.
drafted, I assume?
No. Oh, Minnesota State has a really good goalie. Let me look. Dryden McKay on Minnesota State has a 1.28 goals against, 932 save percentage. So either of those two teams probably.
I love that about college.
Or Michigan.
That you can
those
have
are the three. Michigan,
like
Mankato, Quinnipiac.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I like it. All right.
Mankato, Michigan, or Quinnipiac would be the three that I would.
Boom. We're booking it right here on March 7th, 2022. All right. I love that. Okay. Last thing, women's college basketball. My favorite team had their season end yesterday. Fresno State. They lost, and it was very sad. Cavender twins both had
that hurts.
Phenomenal seasons, by the way. Also, Haley Cavender got snubbed on Conference Player of the Year, but she led the conference in rebounds and points, I believe. But whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually, I don't know if you guys have followed it all. I always follow a little bit, and then I get into it in March just because it's more basketball. This year is really interesting. UConn is really good still, but they're no longer the top dog. I think last I checked, they were ranked like 7th last week. I don't know if
They're a 2 seed right now.
Okay, yeah. So that's always interesting. Who was it? South Carolina that just lost yesterday. Also, Iowa looks really good. Is it Caitlin Clark that's been balling? Yeah. So I don't know. It's fun. We'll have to make brackets for that once the time comes. But yeah, I mean it's always fun. I really do think that women's college basketball is like on the come up. Like I think it's getting pretty big, and that's cool to see. So I don't know. You guys got anything else? Any other like college sports? Beeve, you're a big gymnastics.
Oh yeah,
guy?
Shout out Livy, LSU gymnastics. Shout out the entire LSU gymnastics team.
All right, fair enough. Okay, I love it. Anything else you guys got though?
No, I think that's it.
Everything for me.
All right, so I think that's episode 1. That was fantastic. I think that it went pretty well. Obviously, for 3 guys that have never really done a podcast before, so we'll try to do it next week again. I know we probably didn't have any live viewers, but hopefully we can get some clips out there. And yeah, it was a fun time though. Thanks guys for.
We'll have more content next week after conference championships. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Bracket will be out next Monday.
Out, so you want to shoot for Monday night again?
Yeah. If that works for you guys, sure. I think Monday night's perfect for me. So. And if we need to reschedule anytime, we always can. But
all right, perfect because it'll be day after Selection Sunday, and then brackets.
We'll have a lot. Okay,
maybe do a podcast bracket.
Live bracket selection.
We could make like a pod bracket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
We'll talk later.
See you, boys.
See you guys.